Re-elected ANC Veterans League President Snuki Zikalala says members are saddened about the party's working relationship with the EFF. Zikalala was elected unopposed as the leader of the league at a conference over the weekend. He's raised concerns about the ANC working with a party that he says does not believe in the ANC's values. For more on his thoughts and reflections of the weekend gone by, Zikalala joins us now via our video link. And it's great to have you on the program as always, sir. Thanks very much indeed for your time. First things first, congratulations in order, elected unopposed along with your deputy. But I wonder as a start if we can begin here. You know, the ANC president, Cyril Ramaphosa, has described the Veterans League as the lodestar of the governing party. Fikile Mbalula also spoke and essentially urged the Veterans League to continue giving advice to the party as they go through turbulent times. To what extent do you believe, though, that you've got some kind of influence over the leaders of the governing party, at least in moments where it matters?
Yeah, good morning, Ayanda. Good morning to your viewers. Thank you very much for congratulating us, not myself only. And with the new leadership of the Veterans League, it has been very difficult. 5 years, and of course I think we have achieved what we meant to do. We managed to establish structures of the Veterans League which are not in existence since 2009, and so in all 9 provinces now we have credible structures of the Veterans League. And the conference that we held, it was a conference of branch delegates. All those 467 convicts were elected by branches. A person did not come just because he was called over the phone, come to a conference, and all of them were audited. Firstly, to check whether they are 60 years of age. Secondly, to check whether do they have 40 years of uninterrupted service in the organization. And so we are confident and happy that they themselves decided that, look, it's time now that we should reinvigorate the organization, re-energize it, and make sure that we bring back its values, and also make sure that society believes us again, because society did believe us, but until we reared of the lane. And I think we are on course now. And of course, what value do we add in the organization? Why are we really listened to? Yes, we are listened to. I'll give an example. Is that we influenced a resolution that was taken by the NEC that within the disciplinary committee we should have 6 veterans who are not members of the NEC to sit in the disciplinary committee. And of course the NEC listened to us and they agreed to that. That is why we have a very strong disciplinary committee. And also we influenced the NEC itself to say that in the disciplinary appeals, Committee on Appeals, we should have 6 veterans, and of course 4 veterans who are not members of the NEC, but and also 4 NEC members. Of course, the NEC listened to us, and so we are saying that we do have influence because we don't have any interest in acquiring status in government, becoming ministers. We don't have that interest. Our interest now is that we want to rebuild this organization of ours, make sure that we bring the confidence of society into this organization, which is theirs. It does not belong to us.
The latest advice you've given, at least according to some reports, is that you want the ANC to sever ties with the EFF. But you've been quoted differently in various publications. So perhaps clarify what the call is from the Veterans League here, in a context where, of course, there are people who are suggesting that coalitions are an inevitability come 2024.
No. We are not campaigning to be involved in any coalition at all. We're campaigning for an outright victory of the African National Congress. That's what we're campaigning for. And we'll make sure that the ANC wins the elections. Actually, we're making sure that in all structures of the ANC, especially at lower level, at ward level, VD level, veterans are involved in campaigning and working with councillors so that we turn the situation around. We make sure that the dysfunctional municipalities are reinvigorated, and we make sure that in those dysfunctional municipalities we employ skilled, competent South African patriots. When I talk about patriots, I'm not saying people who just belong to the African National Congress, but South Africans who did not vote for the ANC, but who believe in building this country of ours. And so we believe in that. Secondly, we know very well that if you get into a coalition, we don't believe in coalitions. We believe that immediately if you lose elections, let's go to the benches and fight the battle then and fix what we have done wrong. And so if we get into a coalition, especially if it happens, but we are saying we don't want coalitions at all. If it happens, we can't get into a coalition with a party that does not believe in our constitutional democracy, which does not even believe in the rule of law in this country. We cannot get into that coalition. Because where's our pride? Where's our pride as African National Congress, as a South African nation? We cannot do that. People did not vote for us to go into a coalition with parties that do not respect our constitutional democracy and that do not believe in the rule of law. We cannot. It's for us, that's a red line. That's a red line we have put, and we are saying that should not happen. Of course, that's what we're debating with the African National Congress. We're waiting for a meeting with the top 7 so that we discuss this issue again with them, and I think they listen to us.
Sure. So what are you saying? If the ANC doesn't win an outright majority, you reckon they shouldn't even try to get into governance, but should take up their seats in the opposition benches?
That's what we believe, but we are not going for elections to lose elections. None at all. We're going to elections to win the elections. And so it's remote, but we are talking about the current coalition that are happening, because we're not happy in the manner in which it has happened. With the one in Gauteng is happening, the one in Goruleni, we don't believe in that. And the one in Tshwane, we don't believe in that as veterans. We believe let's go back to the benches and fight the struggle from there, because we know why we lost the elections. We lost elections because we did not deliver on our mandate. We did not deliver on what we said to society, especially coming to our manifesto. We did not, and so society lost confidence in us. And the number of people who were elected and some councillors, they did not do what they were expected to do. And so society definitely, it has a right not to vote, but to sit back and say, we'll punish them. And they punished us. And so we have heard, and we are saying, definitely we're going to fix that, and we're determined as veterans that should be fixed.
It's interesting your disdain for coalitions, and sorry, I can't find a better word to describe it, because Ayanda Nyathi, who was speaking at the Women's League conference, which was held, of course, a weekend before yours, actually struck a very different tone. In fact, part of her sentiment was that coalitions are an inevitability, and leaders who don't believe that, she insinuated, are essentially disillusioned. What is your message then to voters who are listening to this double speak and are trying to ascertain what the strategy is going to be from the governing party when there are leaders who are elders in the organization pulling in different directions?
No, we're not pulling in different directions. I think it's a question of misunderstanding, but we're not disillusioned. We can't be disillusioned. We fought there's a very, very brutal apartheid system when majority, especially Americans, thought that we'll never be able to win this power. And so we did that. We're never disillusioned. We're in the camps, and we struggled. It was difficult. It was not easy. But we soldiered on, and we were committed and determined to overthrow the apartheid system. And many have lost their lives. And so we can't say disappoint those who have lost their lives for us to have this constitutional democracy and get into unethical, what I call them unethical coalitions with parties that did not believe in the rule of law. We're not being disillusioned. That is why we are saying that we are going to mobilize society. We're going to make sure that we fix what we have broken. We accept that 43 municipalities are dysfunctional. And why? Because we employed unskilled, incompetent, and corruptible individuals. Some of them cannot read and write. And so why did we do that? That's one thing that we are saying, we're fixing it. We're not folding our hands and say we're disillusioned. No, I disagree with that. But what we are saying is veterans, we're going to work very hard, irrespective of age, because some of them are 80 years of age, like Comrade Meg Maharaj, but he is still committed. He's committed that, look, I'm not going to die and allow this organization of ours to lose elections. And so we cannot allow that to happen.
So Ayanda Nyathi's got it wrong?
Well, unfortunately, she's my comrade. She's got it wrong. We're not disillusioned. We're not disillusioned old people. No, we can't be disillusioned. We've never been disillusioned, especially in exile, when it was difficult, when some of us were kicked out of Botswana, other comrades were kicked out of Mozambique, and others were kicked out of Lesotho, and some of us were there when the racist regime attacked our people in the camps, so we were there. And so we have never been disillusioned. Never. Never. We're committed to make sure that we bring a better life to all South Africans in the country.
Sure. And for the record, I mean, I'm the one who's using the word disillusion. Shouldn't say that specifically, but I think that was certainly the messaging that she was sending out. I mean, if there are people, I mean, I hear you, for instance, citing the work that it's taken to get the country here, and I think nobody can take that away from the ANC. It's clear in our history books. But there are many people who believe, Dr. Zikalala, that those years are behind us, and perhaps it is more in the ANC's favor and benefit to accept that perhaps their role in society is ebbing and evolving. What's your response to that?
No, there's nothing like that. It does not mean that just because we have won constitutional democracy, we must pack our bags and go. No, it doesn't happen like that. It does not work like that. And so what we are saying is that we admit that we made mistakes, and those mistakes are human mistakes that we've made, and we are correcting those mistakes. Mistakes that we've made by employing unskilled, incompetent in municipality structures. That's what we've done. And so I feel that is why we had a workshop of doctors, all managers who are employed in municipalities. We had a workshop with them, a 2-day workshop last week to discuss that. And we're very firm that, comrades, you are employed here to do the work. You're getting a good salary, but that salary must be turned into gold. That gold is putting services to the poor and making sure that unscrupulous elements, those who put their hands in the cookie jar, they must be putted out. They must face the full might of the law. And so it's not to say that we don't know what we did wrong. That is why we're talking about unity and renewal of the African National Congress. That's unity and renewal. We are saying as the African National Congress, especially as veterans, that we have to bring back political education into the African National Congress. Because when we took power in 1994, and when we came back into the country in the early 90s, we opened the windows. As Comrade Gwede Mantashe says, we opened the windows, all the mosquitoes came in. And so there was no criteria of how you should be selected as a member of the African National Congress. In one of our resolutions, we are saying there should be a criteria. Those who have criminal records must not be part of our organization. We have to build a new cadre of the organization, a cadre that is committed and committed to the values and principles of the organization.
Sure.
That's a cadre that we want.
All right, Dr. Snuki Zikalala, the re-elected president of the ANC Veterans League, loud and clear. I wonder if leaders of the ANC, though, can hear you. Dr. Zikalala, once again, thanks very much indeed for your time.